What's going on, guys? This is me Ron and welcome to the new video tutorial. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a registration and login application in Android with the use of MySQL database. Which means when we are registering new user in our application, that data will be stored in MySQL database, and when the registered user tries to log in into the application checks whether the username and password is stored on MySQL database or not. Means if the user input username and password match with the database username and password, they get into the application. Otherwise, we need to display error message. We are going to talk so many things in this video tutorial. First of all, you have to have a server application like WARM server or Jam server installed in your system and run the server application. I already run it. Here you can see I am using WARM server because we are going to write or read MySQL database through our Android application with the help of scripting language. For this purpose, we are going to use PHP script, and you all know that PHP script is executed only on server because it is server-side scripting language. And the other thing is you need to have a text editing software like Gmail CC, Sublime Text, VS Code. I am using VS Code. Now let's do it. First of all, we are going to create database in MySQL. So run your server application, and after then open up any browsing software and then go to localhost and then go to PHP myadmin, and the username is root, default username is root and password is empty. Click go and click on new and give the database name register and PHP register, and then click on create. And here we are going to have like 5 columns and PHP register, and then click go. Then here goes name, and here goes address, here goes email, here goes username, and finally here goes password. And change the data type to varchar, and give the length like 50, 50, 50, 50, and 50, and then click on save. Now click on SQL and then select insert query and copy this query and open up any text editing software. I'm going to use VS Code, and then click on new file. Press Ctrl and S from your keyboard and save this file inside your www WARM server, www, and any folder you want. I am going to use example folder and save this file as .php. Click save. Now here we are going to use PHP. Now what we are going to do is we are going to define our server URL, PHP myadmin username and password, and finally our database name. So here you can either use a localhost or IP address of the localhost, that is 127.0.0.1. PHP myadmin username is default one is root. If you change the default PHP myadmin username and password, you need to enter the changed username and password, but the default one is root and the default password is empty, and our DB name is equal to Now we need to connect this application with the server. So for this, connection is equal to MySQLi_connect, and the parameters are server name in the PHP myadmin username, so username in the PHP myadmin password, and finally DB name. Now, if this application is connected with the server, you can display the message. So if there is a connection to the server, what you can do is you can display the message to the user echo connection success, else echo connection not success. Now we are going to check if the server request method is either post method or get method. So for this, if we are going to use one super global variable, that is server, and the request method is request underscore method is equal to post method. We are going to use the post method. Now we are going to store user type value in some variable. So here goes name is equal to $_post. Here goes the indexed name. This is the index that we are going to pass through our Android code. So I'm going to show you in Android Studio. Name and then address is equal to $_post. There goes the index, address, and email is equal to $_post, email, and user name. User is equal to $_post. There goes the indexed user name. I'm not using here username because you may get confused, so I use only user. Password is equal to $_post, and here goes password. Now we need to write the query, insert query. So query is equal to paste the recently copied query. So we need to change the value here. Here goes name, and here goes address, and here goes email, here goes user, and finally here goes path. Now we are going to execute this query. So what we need to do is we need to display the message. So echo registered successfully, else what we need to do is we need to display the error message. Now here, if the requested method is not post method, what we need to do is we need to display the message to the user. So echo error in requested method. So just save it, Ctrl+S from your keyboard. That's it in this backend part, guys. We are going to write the front end part in Android Studio. So open up Android Studio, go to File, click on New, and then click on New Project. Give the name of the application, that is AND-PHP Register Login. Click on Next, select Phone and Tablet, and select any version. Click Next, select Empty Activity, click Next, and then click Finish. Gradle build successfully. Now expand this app directory, again expand resource, again expand layout, and double click that activity_main.xml file. Now here, just remove it, press delete from your keyboard, and let me zoom it. Now drag and drop some plain text over your layout. Let me arrange it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the 2 button. Now select this control, and from the property we need to change the ID. Here goes txt name, and you can also give the hints. Here goes name. You need to remove this text, and you can also increase the text size, that is 1820. Similar process. Here goes txt add, and remove the text, and hint is address, and you can also increase the text size. Similar for this one. Here goes txt email, remove this one, and hint email. Txt user, username, sorry, remove the text, hint is username, and here goes remove the text, hint is password, and the ID is txt pass. And the button, here goes ID btn register RET, and the button text is register. And this another button, here goes btn login, and the button text is login. Now we need to define its control and initialize its control in main-activity.java file. So go to Java, again expand this top folder and double click that main-activity.java file. Now inside the class we are going to declare our control. So button underscore btn register underscore btn login, and edit text underscore txt name underscore txt address underscore txt email underscore txt user, and finally underscore txt pass. Now inside the uncreated method we are going to initialize its control. So underscore btn login is equal to button find by r.id.btn login. The ID means that we give in activity underscore main.xml file. So select its control, and you can see the ID is this one, and the button ID is this one. Underscore btn register is equal to button find by r.id.btn register underscore txt name is equal to edit text find b by id r.id.txt name. Similar process for all the text box. Underscore txt email is equal to edit text find b by id r.id.txt email. Underscore txt user is equal to edit text find b by id r.id.txt user. And finally underscore txt path is equal to edit text find b by id r.id.txt path. Now we are going to create the listening event of the register button. So underscore btn register dot set onclick listener new view dot onclick listener. So here what we are going to do is we are going to store the user input value in some variable. So string name is equal to underscore txt name dot get text dot toString. String address is equal to underscore txt address dot get text dot toString. String email is equal to underscore txt email dot get text dot toString. String user name is equal to underscore txt user dot get text dot toString. And finally string password is equal to underscore txt pass dot get text dot toString. Now let's talk about Android app execution. Android application code by default run in a single thread called as a main thread or UI thread, that is user interface thread. Since all the code are running in a single thread, every statement gets executed in a sequence. Thus, if we perform a long-lasting operation, the application blocks the thread until the corresponding operation has been finished. Hence, it is better to perform such a long-lasting operation asynchronously or in a new thread. Here we have two options. Either we can use a thread or assign tasks to do our network operation of our Android application. Talking about the thread is a single sequential flow of control within a program. Means when we create a new thread in our application, the code inside that thread executes first. And when we talking about the assign task, an assign task is defined by a computation that runs on a background thread and whose result is published on a UI thread. Assign task is one of the easiest way to implement parallelism in Android without having to deal with more complex method like thread. So we are going to use the assign task in our application. It has the four methods: on PreExecute, do in background, on ProgressUpdate, and finally on PostExecute. Now let's talk about each method of the assign task. On PreExecute method, it contains the code which is executed before the background processing starts. Do in background method, it contains the code which needs to be executed in background. In this method, we can send results multiple times to the UI thread by publish progress method. On ProgressUpdate method, this method receives the progress update from the do in background method. And finally on PostExecute method, this method is called after do in background method completes processing. Result from do in background is passed to this method. Why I am talking all these things here in this tutorial is we are going to write data into MySQL database and read data from MySQL database. So it is a long-lasting operation because we need to go through the server. It's always good practice to use assign tags in such cases. So we are going to use assign tags in our application. For this, create new Java class. So right click over this top folder, click on new, click on Java class and give the class name background tags, and then click OK. Now we are going to extend this class with assign tags. So extend asyn tags, assign tags, and then give the parameter string. Now here you can see here is red line, so it says you need to implement the method. So click that line and from the keyboard press Alt and Enter, simultaneously implement the method. Click OK. Now inside the class, create a constructor taking context as a parameter. So this means background tag context ctx, and here goes the remaining code. Now inside that class, create a context object and assign this object to the context of the constructor. This means I am going to show you context, and assign this object this dot context is equal to ctx. Now inside the doInBackground method, here what we are going to do is this string 3 dot means it can take multiple value as a parameter, means we are defining array as a parameter. Now inside this doInBackground method, what we are going to do is we are going to store the parameter in some variable. So string type is equal to strings, and here goes 0. After creating the object of this background tag class, you will understand we are going to pass some value, and that value goes to this 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, and so on. String name is equal to string, here goes 1 index. String address is equal to string, here goes 2. String email is equal to string, here goes 3. String username is equal to string, here goes 4. And finally string password is equal to string, here goes parameter, here goes index 5. Now call your PHP file using URL. So string register URL is equal to, now you have two options. If you are using Android Studio built-in emulator, then you need to write 10.0.2.2 is the IP address of a localhost, or if you are using third-party emulator like Genemotion, you need to write 10.0.3.2 is the IP address of a localhost, and then your folder where you save your PHP file, and then the name of the PHP file. Now we need to check whether to log in or register. So if type dot equals, here goes register, what we need to do is we need to write try and catch exception, because we are going to check whether the URL is in the correct format or not. So URL is equal to new URL, and here goes register URL. Now here you can see here is on red underline, it says on handle exception. So click that line and click Alt and Enter from your keyboard and click on Add Catch Clause. Again here I am going to use another try and catch exception handling, because we are going to create the object of class HTTP URL connection. We need this class because we are going to either insert some data into the server database or read data from server database, and we need to go through the internet. So have to use this HTTP URL connection class. after creating the object of this class, obtain a new HTTP URL connection by URL.openConnection method and cast the result to the HTTP URL connection. That means I'm going to show you HTTP URL connection. HTTP URL connection is equal to typecasting HTTP URL connection. Here goes URL dot open connection. Here again you can see there is one red underline. Click that line and click Alt and Enter from your keyboard and click on Add Catch Clause. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to set the method for the URL request is a post method. So HTTP URL connection dot set request method is post method and set the do output method as a true, since we are using post and we want to allow sending a body by the connection. So HTTP URL connection dot set do output as true. Again set the do input as true, since we want to allow reading information from the response. So HTTP URL connection dot set do input as true. Now create an object of the output stream and get the output stream from our HTTP URL connection, because we are going to write data to a destination one item at a time. So output stream is equal to HTTP connection URL connection dot get output stream. Now encode the characters obtained into the byte using a specified character set. This can be done by using output stream writer. So output stream writer is equal to new output stream writer has goes output stream and the specified character set is UTF-8. If you want to know about what is UTF-8, you can Google it. If I am going to explain this here, the video can be so very long. So now to avoid a frequent converter invocation, wrap an output stream writer within a buffer writer. So buffer writer is equal to new buffer writer. Here goes output stream writer. Now encode the URL using URL encode class. So string insert underscore data is equal to URL encoder dot encode. Here goes the index, that is name, and the encoding type is UTF-8 and plus double quotes, inside to double quotes is equal to, here goes plus URL encoder dot encode. Here goes the variable name, that is name, and the encoding type is UTF-8 and here goes concatenation, that is plus and in new line, and this is the index. Here you can see this index should be exact same as here you write in your PHP file, that is this one. This name should be equal to this name, should be equals in the sense that if you write here capital N, you need to write capital N over here as well. So you get what I mean. Here goes plus URL encoder dot encode. Here goes the index address and the encoding method is UTF-8. Similar process, plus double quotes is equal to plus URL encoder dot encode and the variable is address and the encoding method is UTF-8 and here goes plus concatenation and in new line and plus URL encoder dot encode, and the index is email, and the encoding method is UTF-8 plus is equal to plus URL encoder dot encode, and the variable is email, and UTF-8 plus and plus URL encoder dot encode. Here goes username UTF-8 plus equal to plus URL encoder dot encode. Here is the variable username, and including type is URL-8 plus and plus URL encoder dot encode. That was index password, and the encoding type is UTF-8 concatenation URL encoder dot encode. Here goes password variable and UTF-8. Now write the data into buffer writer and close and close it. That means buffer writer dot write. Here goes insert underscore data, and then plus it buffer writer dot plus, and then buffer writer dot close. Now create an object of our input stream and get the input stream from our HTTP URL connection. We use it to read the data from source one at a time. So here goes input stream. Input stream is equal to HTTP URL connection dot get input stream. Now encode the bytes obtained back into the characters using a specified character set. This can be done by using input stream reader. So input stream reader is equal to new input stream reader. Here goes input stream. In the specified character is ISO 88591. If you don't know what is ISO 88591-1, you can Google it. To avoid the frequent converter invocation, wrap an input stream reader within a buffer reader, read the data and close input stream reader and buffer reader. So here buffer reader is equal to new buffer reader. Here goes input stream reader. Now I am going to define two variables. String result is equal to empty, and string line is equal to empty, because we need to pass the result to the on PostExecute method, and we need to read the line from our database. So here while line is equal to buffer reader dot read line is not equal to null, what I am going to do is, first of all, let me define string builder. String builder is equal to new string builder, and what I am going to do inside the while loop is string builder dot append line dot append new line /n. Now outside the while loop, what I am going to do is I am going to assign the value to the result variable. Result is equal to string builder dot toString. Now close the buffer reader. Buffer reader dot close, input stream dot close, and disconnect the HTTP URL connection. HTTP URL connection dot disconnect. Return the results. So obtain. This means return result. Now we need to pass this result to the onPostExecute method. So in order to implement that method, click Ctrl+O from your keyboard and select onPreExecute method and onPostExecute method and click OK. Now here inside onPostExecute method we are going to display the message to the user because this result is transferred to here. So here toast.makeText context and result and toast.lengthlong.show. So that's it in this background text class. Now go back to main activity.java file and here I'm going to define one variable string type is equal to register, and I'm going to create the object of the background text class. Background text is equal to new background text. Here goes context or get application context, and background text dot execute. Here goes type, and then name, and then address, and then email, and then username, and finally password. So when this application executes, this find the background text class and this jump to this class, and this dot execute means it going to execute the doing background method, and this type goes over here, string 0, string 1 goes this name, and address goes in index 2 and similar way. Now this application uses the internet because we are going to pass the data to the MySQL database. So in order to use the internet, we need to give the permission to this application to use the internet. So go to manifest.xml file and here use this permission, just type internet. So that's it. Now run your application. I'm going to use the built-in Android Studio emulator. So select that emulator, click OK. Activity launched successfully. Now let's check. Oops, I forgot to do one thing. Because I am using Android Studio version 3.1.2, I need to do one more thing. So go to activity_main.xml file. Here select this text box and let's arrange it, make it little bit small. Now here you can see there is error. It says this is not a constant particle. At runtime it will jump to 00. So here you may find one symbol that is infer constant. So click that infer constant. Now again run your application. Activity launch. Now enter the corresponding value like take support name is the name, address, email, username, password. Then click register. Oops, nothing is written means we have some error. We may have some error in our code. So let's check our code. Go back to Android Studio and go to main.activity.java file, and here we define our controls. Here we initialize our controls. Here we take the input from the user, and here we create the object of the background text class and we pass the value over here. So here may not be any error. So go back to background tag.java file, and from the top we need to see it. Now here we pass the value to the variable which is receiving our parameter, index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is correct. Here we forget to write HTTP, this one, and we check the register or login. Here we pass our URL over here, HTTP URL connection, and then request method post, do output true, output stream, HTTP connection dot get output stream, output stream writer, character set, this one is correct, buffer writer, output stream, this one is correct, and our insert data UTF-8, this is correct, this one is correct, dot write, this one is correct, close, input, this one is correct. I think the rest of the code are correct. So again, run the application. Launching activity successfully. Now enter the corresponding value, address, email, username, password. Now click on register. Message should display register successfully. There you go. Now let's check whether these data are inserted in MySQL database or not. So for this, go to PHPMyAdmin and select your database, and then select your table. Click on browse. There you go. Name is this one, address is this one, email is this one, username this one, password this one. So our data is inserted in our MySQL database. So that's it in this first part, guys. I will see you in the second part. In second part, I am going to show you how to log into the application using this username and password. If you face any problem, you can comment your problem in the comment section of the video. I will see you in the second part.